Hello my YouTube friends, time to do a couple of Spidermen. Now again, this guy came from the Devil's Workshop or Toys Wonderland. Again, it's with all of them. I had to remind them that they hadn't sent it when they said they had. They did send it. I did get it. As you can see, it's here in front of you. It's a very, very mild inconvenience again to have to keep reminding them that they haven't sent it. But for the price that I'm paying for some of these things, it's an inconvenience that I'm willing to put up with, only for the fact that I'm getting them so cheap. If I wasn't getting them so cheap, if I was paying the original price for them, I wouldn't be happy that I'm having to remind the things, you know, that, hey, look, you've got my money, you've still got my figure. Yeah, you said you'd friggin' posted it. You haven't, because I can see it's still in your friggin' workshop or wherever it is you've got it stored. Get it out to us, you know. But because I've paid a cheap enough price for it, it's like, okay, I'm sort of thinking, yeah, I'm going, yeah, hey, look, yeah, what's going on here? You've said it's shipped. It hasn't been shipped. Can you not get it? It's like shipped out to us, like you've said it supposedly already has been. All right, we're sorry, we'll get it out. And of course, it's here. This one, eBay purchase. I can't believe the price. I think I'm not going to say, because to be honest, I can't remember. I've had it, like I say, I've had it for a good while now, but I know I got it for under the retail price. You know what I mean? And I got it really sort of cheap, and I did quickly check it to make sure everything was there and that there was nothing missing, and give the guy a good review for it. So, I'm quite happy to have that one in as well. And I just thought, well, let's do the pair of these together because they're from sort of the similar thingy, they're from the similar universe. They're both from the video games. So one is the VGM 042, the other one is the VGM 044, and the Ox suit, and the 2099 black suit, which again is blue, but never mind. Both covers look great. Both have a very similar style cover where you have sort of some things inside of here. You've got the same in this one, but you can barely make them ones out compared to the one in the yellow. It carries on around the side there. Now, one of the things that I do, because like I say, I did open the brush to quickly check that everything's there. I haven't had a sort of a look at them. I haven't checked the articulation or anything else yet. But one of the things you see on the side of there is on this one here. I don't know how well you can make it out on the video. Not well at all, because it's sort of thing out. But on this one, yeah, you can actually see his mouthpiece. It's where it's been broken off in that, you know. But you don't get that in the actual box, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have what they're showing you on there, but again, it's in again, that one carries on around the side. Back has the warnings, on that side. There you go. I'll get the stuff out, put them on here and show you, because obviously you get your usual bit on the inside, which again you probably won't be able to see for the bloody glare. Yeah, a bit on the inside with the glare, but we'll get the things out and show you what we've got. Okay guys, so here we go with the accessories. Now I'm only getting sort of one set of the stuff that's basically the same. Yeah, the likes of these things, you get one for each one, same as these. The standard, pretty much you get them with every single sort of Spider-Man that you get, the same as this thing. Yeah, you get them with every Spider-Man you get, so there's no point in getting them all out. The same as like this thing, you know, you get the same crotch grabber, you get the same dynamic flight pole. Thing that's obviously slightly different, which I'm going to show you, is obviously the plates to stand on. Yeah, that's your one from the Ox suit, as it has on there, and then this one, your 2099, which I actually think that looks amazing. You know, I mean, that looks absolutely fantastic. I don't tend to have them on things, and I probably won't use this one either, but I do think that is outstanding, you know. I mean, that looks much better than that thing. You know, that is a standout. But will that draw your eyes away from the figure? You know, that's the hard thing to think of. I mean, that putting that sort of on the wall as a freaking thing, it would be a standout piece on its own. So I really do think that one is beautiful. You have, obviously, your pegs. Now, you can't see as well as what I can, obviously. Maybe you can't from that angle there. Obviously, this one's black to go with the Antioch suit. These ones like a blue colour to go with the 2099 suit. You know, see a set of wrist pegs. And then you can see there is slight differences here. The Antioch suit, you get some eyes. So you're basically getting a left and right eye like that, and the left and right eye like that. Yeah, they're detailed enough. They look cool. It's nice to have sort of swap out eyes, but you don't get that with the 2099 suit, which you'll be able to tell why when you see the suit. Again, with this one, you've got a sort of your wrist things to plug your things into, plug your webs into. Yeah, it looks cool. You get one for each side. You have two of these set of hands, the Antioch. Again, they've got some sort of, you've got a shininess to one part and a dull matte to the other. Slight indentations where you can see the things of the fingers are. So that's cool. You have your hands for as if he's gripping onto a wall, which I always like to use them ones whenever I can, because I think they look so damn cool when it looks like he's just hanging off a wall or hanging off a ceiling. So they're sort of the ones that I really do like to use whenever I can. You know, and usually with one set of them, if I'm thinking. You have his hands which have a hole in there to actually thread, again, the loops through to make it look like he's swinging, if you want to make them sort of like he's swinging. And then you have your fisted hands. Difference being with the 2099 suit, again, you have a slightly different style of web shooter thing there, which again, to me looks cool. I love the vibrancy, I love the colour of them. What I do dig is like these sort of hands here. That actually, you may be able to hear that. That goes to prove to you that there's texture to them. They're not just a plain thingy. And the fact that they've got like a, almost like a fingernail to them, like a panther style thing, like a Black Panther thingy to it. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. In fact, it's a sort of pointing fingers, a nice touch. Yeah, you have an open palm one, which again inside you can see, again, it's like pads of an animal, yeah, to it, rather than sort of the spider look to it. That's more like an animal. It's more like a sort of a bear print or something like that, you know. It, again, I just think that sort of hand looks pretty cool, but how I would display it there, I don't know. Yeah, the same similar hand to the normal Spider-Man style hands there. I like these ones as well. I think these are kind of cool. Almost again like the Black Panther style hands to them. They look like that sort of he's clawing at something. You have a similar one to the other ones, like he's crawling up thingy, but it's they've done them in a sort of slightly different way. And again, I think that just looks really good how they've done that. And then this, with these ones, you have your fisted hands, but they do, if I remember correctly, there's only one of them. That's why I was looking and thinking, so what the hell? There's only one of them has a hole in it for putting the spiderweb thing through. Yeah, the other one is just a fisted hand. One of them is for grabbing. I think there's with these ones. Actually, these ones are the same, aren't they? No, these are both just fisted because he has the actual two grabbing hands. Yeah, so you could have them grab with either one of his hands with them ones, whereas with this one, you're only going to have them grab with that one. Okay, but and that's everything else. All these other things are sort of very similar to them. They both have them. They're all both there, because obviously this one's the one I got from eBay, but they are there. They're all there. It's now basically onto the characters themselves, which again, I should be able to do them sort of slightly thingy, because the range of motion and everything else like that should be the same, because the suits feel very similar. They look very different, but that's what we're going to see right now. You can see the two figures together, roughly about the same height by the looks of it. Yeah, and you can see just by looking where you get that little bit of sheen coming off them, where the sort of you've got the different finishes in the thing. You know, it's not just one matte black or matte blue. You've got different finishes to them. We'll go with the anti-ox suit first. And again, you know, the head sculpt. This one has the swap out eyes on magnets. Bits of what looks like sort of stitching on his forehead, and you can see the thing there, which again is have material to it. The neck, and that is all. You see like a little different paneling and that to it. Spider logo is set inside, and it's not like painted on by the looks of it. It's a proper inset thing to it, and you can see the differences in the colours, the matte and the shine. Yeah, I love the look of the look of this suit. Yeah, the differences in the way the paneling looks like it's been done, and the stitching's been done on it. It just looks really good, really nice. The main thing is how posable that is it. So that's for looking down. So you're looking up. Is there any articulation to the neck itself? You've got sort of, there's not really much in the way of any sort of articulation inside of the neck part of it there, but obviously you can't get it to look sort of completely round. It's just obviously that's going to look a bit silly when you're doing it that way, and you will get a decent enough amount of head tilt, as long as you're willing to sort of work with it and fuss with it to get it to sit right and get it to look right. You can hear ratcheted joints, and it goes basically all the way up, yeah, which is good. You can see a nice strong ratcheted joints. You do get a little bit of butterfly, but it's not going to sort of stay in that position very easily, because the suit wants to push it back out again. Yeah, you're not going to get his arms right by his sides, because again, the restrictions to the suit and the restrictions to the way the joints are. But it does move. You can't get that sort of up there before it starts to fight to come down, and you're obviously getting the bunching. Okay, same going backwards, you get quite a bit of thing. There's no ratchet on that part of it though, but you are sort of getting the bunching just there, so you need to be careful with that. Yeah, the suit itself, I think as long as you don't leave it in a sort of a really strong dynamic style pose, I think it'll fall back out quite nice and quite readily by the looks of it. Nice double bend to the elbow. Again, you're seeing sort of the bunching up, and the material itself, I would say, if you live in a hot climate and it gets hot and it gets cold and it gets hot and it gets cold, you might sort of be worried about these things sort of sticking to itself over a long period of time. Again, sort of the normal 1/6 joint in there, which you've always got to faff on with to try and get it to be able to maneuver it in whichever way you want it to go, but it's still there. So that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Waist wise, ratcheted, and it's decent enough. Yeah, you can't really grumble with that. Sort of, I mean, I'm risking it here. You know, I'm risking it for a biscuit here, but that is pretty good for going back over as well. You know, I was a bit concerned about Dina, but it's ratcheted, it's worked well, it's good enough. I would just be very thinking about keep on having to do that. Moving these legs out again on a ratchet out of there. And again, but you're getting the sort of the bunching up in the uniform. Ratcheted going forwards. It's about that. Again, sort of the bunching happening. And you actually are getting the motion back over, which for Hot Toys, that's pretty good, because you don't only get much of that. They've made that pretty decent that you get some actual backward motion on it. I'm surprised and I'm happy with that. Again, solid, decent double bend. Ankle wise, you have got decent range of motion on that bit, and you do have toe articulation, which is always nice to see, toe articulation on these type of figures. And you do have the inward and outward, but not a massive amount, you know, but enough that would give you that ability to have them in sort of dynamic poses and hopefully be able to hold yourself upright. So that's that guy's thing. You know, the other guy is going to be pretty much the same, apart from I would be careful with these things, but the range of motion should be fairly similar. The suits are like a fairly similar sort of material by the feels of them, you know, but we'll have a quick see them, because you see, we won't have a closer look at him anyway. I mean, this guy, I've got to admit, this guy is kept on drawing my attention. That's why I wanted to do him last, so I could spend a little bit longer with him, because I love the look of this one. This one just looks mint. You can see why he doesn't have interchangeable eyes, because technically speaking, he doesn't have any eyes in there. Yeah, I do love this feature. The blue and the red really stand out. Yeah, it is really well done. And again, like you see, the range of motion on the head, there's nothing there on the neck. It's just like a fixed thing in your neck, but you do get a decent range of motion. I worry more so with this one about this sort of material here, but it seems to be okay. It seems to have like less of a bunching up because of the way that one is than what the other suit does. Yeah, and it is again ratcheted joints, because it's basically going to be the same figure underneath. This bit though, I've got to admit, I do love this. This looks amazing. It's raised on top of the actual suit itself. It's a raised piece, which makes us worry about the articulation of the waist wise of that thing. Even though it is sort of soft, it's not hard. It sort of feels quite hard and sculpted, but it's not. It actually is a soft material. But I love the fact that it looks like the Punisher emblem with a Spider-Man emblem on it. You know what I mean? It looks more like a menacing Black Widow thing. You know, that there doesn't exactly look menacing. Yeah, it looks like a spider, but doesn't look menacing. That looks menacing. That looks like something you'd be frightened to freaking come across. You know what I'm saying? That one, to me, I think, because but I just love the fact that it looks something similar to the Punisher logo, you know. What do I have on waist-wise? So, I mean, yeah, you have got decent enough crunch forward, though it does look a bit strange because of the fact that, like I say, the way it's crunching up. You do have it going back over as well, so that's cool. I do love these things here. They are soft plastic, so yeah, it's a case of I would worry about the heat or anything on them, that if they got too hot, whether they would start to sort of bend and go into funny positions on their own. You know what I mean? But I do think it looks well wicked. You know, you can see more musculature in this one than what you can in the anti-ox suit. You know, the anti-ox suit, you can't really see the musculature itself. You can see that he's got muscle, but you can't really see the musculature itself. Whereas with this one, you see more of the musculature, not particularly so much in the arms, that you can sort of see a little bit of it there, but in the legs wise, you can see that sort of musculature thingy to it. And again, you have got that sort of massive double bend, toe articulation. This one seems to have slightly better one at the bottom end, but only slightly better. Yeah, and it looks cool. The question is, do me be perfect, it's not even a question, it's can they stand, because you know for a fact they're going to be able to stand. Yeah, and you know for a fact that they'll be able to get some nice dynamic poses out of them. It's again, for now, I'm got nowhere to put them, so they'll go back in the boxes for the time being. But again, guys, these look beautiful. You know, it was a case of before I seen and had a proper look at this one online, the anti-ox suit always sort of drew me attention because of the way it looked and the fact of the colours of it. I thought myself, yeah, that'll pop on a thing, you know, it's dark with that bright yellow to it. It'll really stand out. But putting it next to this guy, he pales in comparison. Yeah, he does, because this guy just looks absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. So no wonder Lale Rockwell picked 2099 as his thingy, because that is a Spider-Man just looks fantastic. You know, it looks absolutely amazing. And like I say, when you look at them close together, yeah, you see just the chest musculature, but doesn't really stick out. Whereas with this guy, you see the chest musculature, you see the abdominals, you see the obliques, everything is there on him to show how muscular of a character he is. You know, you can see the sort of the neck details, the traps. With this one, you can barely see any traps. It's almost like a straight across shoulder piece. You can't see any neck thingy to it. You know, you can't see any sort of thing into his back or anything else like that. You know, there's this guy. Again, you can see it in the back. You can see it in his legs. You can see it in the abs, the chest. It's a standout figure, guys. That one is a standout figure, and it's beautiful, and I'm so glad I picked them both up. But more so this one, yeah. Sorry to be gushing about it, but I mean, that is just a phenomenal looking figure. Yeah, and I can't wait to get them, find somewhere for them to go. It'll have me build a Spider-Verse up, I suppose, in a way. I mean, I have got them sort of littered, my Spider-Man littered all over the place, especially in the Man Cave 1.5, because of it being wood, I can actually find ways to sort of thingy them to the ceiling and stuff like that. So where I'll end up putting these and how I end up putting them, I've got no idea. That's something I'll have to figure out in another day in the future, when I've got the room to put them up again. That's when I'll get them back out again and sort of go, okay, now how we're going to pose them, how we're going to do them. So maybe that's something you can look forward to in the future, guys, is coming back and seeing how I eventually have these things posed up. Because obviously these ones don't have some of the accessories that your modern Spider-Men have from sort of the movies, but they still look absolutely phenomenal, you know. And I'm happy as Larry. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll catch yous in the next one.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say that? I mean,
Okay.